Hi everybody, welcome back to Kenny G Music, and this is the second video in the series intro to home recording. So last time round what I showed you was the equipment that I've got that I've built up to start my own recording, but also I briefly showed you this little device which is my audio interface. And I talked about how this was built by BandLab and how they had their own recording software that was actually free to use and available. So I thought for the second episode the best thing to do would be show you how to get up and get started recording your first couple of tracks. So how do you record guitar, vocals, that kind of thing. So really simple introduction, and what we'll do is let's have a look on screen and I'll show you that just now so you can get started in your own recordings. Okay, so first thing you're going to need to do is obviously install it. So I've got it loaded up, but what you can do is if you go on to the internet and you search for BandLab or Cakewalk by BandLab, and then what you'll need to do is, let me just move it over here, is download the BandLab installer. And once you've got that, obviously I've done all these steps because I've been using it for a little while. Once you've got that, what you get is the apps, and you can then do a download, and you'll see here mine is due for an update, so I'd be able to update that, but I'm not going to do that just now because I'm going to show you how it works. So assuming that you've done all of that, then what you'll get is you will, when you first open it up, you'll see this will be blank, but obviously I've got some recent projects in here that I have started off, so just you don't need to worry about that. But what you will do is you will get new project by default, and what you want to do is you want to start off by selecting an empty project. So once that loads up, it just takes a couple of minutes, don't worry if it's taking a wee bit longer. And then what you get is this window, which if you've used any other recording software it'll probably look quite familiar, but it's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to go through the steps that you need to take to get you up and running. Once you are in your project for the first time, what you need to do is we need to set up our interface. So I've not actually plugged mine in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in just now so that you see what happens, because it's actually automated. So what you'll see now is that we've got a little box that's popped up on screen, and it's asking me if I want to connect that to the system. So the same thing should happen whenever you connect your own audio interface, and then what you want to do is obviously click on the yes button and it'll go through the process to set that up from there. Okay, so once you've clicked yes, it's installed, and then what you do is you've got two options here. You can either press P for Papa, and what it does is it brings up your preferences menu, or alternatively the other way to find that is if you go to edit up here on the top toolbar and you click on preferences, and then what we need to do is we need to make sure that your device is actually connected and picking it up so that it's recording. So you'll see here in my list I've got microphone link dual or microphone Realtek high definition. So that's the actual system, and the link dual is the little user interface box that I showed you in the last video. And again, the speakers are doing the same. So if it's not, select the right one and then hit apply and hit OK. So the next thing that we're going to look at doing to get you up and running is we want to be able to actually record some tracks, don't we? So on the browser here, you've got this giant pane, which is your actual workspace. This is where you'll see your tracks appear as you're recording, and what we need to do is we need to add in our very first track. So we click on this plus icon which says add track when I hover over. Also, just to point out is that in the bottom right, let me move my face. In the bottom right, when I hover over something, you've got this little help module on BandLab which tells you exactly what to do, and it gives you little tips as to how you can use that. So I'm going to hit this plus icon, and then it's got input. So you've got two options. You'll see here instrument. Now instrument refers to being one of the digital instruments that's built in the system. So it's always going to be audio if you're using a microphone, or if you're plugging like say a guitar straight into your interface box. So I'm going to go link digital duo, and then I've got choices here. So again, it will depend upon what you're using to record, and because mine's has got two inputs, I can have stereo, a left or a right channel. So usually what I'll do is I'll have a microphone plugged in, so let's say it's the left channel that's there. if I tick this box, record enable, it means that that track is automatically armed and ready to record. And if I click input monitor, it means that I will hear back through my headphones. So if you were recording an electric guitar, you tick input monitor and you can hear that electric guitar coming back through to yourself. When we hit create, you'll see that it's now made a track. So on the left hand side on our console, we've got all the little panels that we'll use, and we'll get into that when we get a lot more advanced with using it. But what we've got is we've got a track, and I can drag and expand this out, and it goes along the full length. So set up to record, the record enable, you see there's a little button here which lets you set record. Obviously we had clicked record enable, but if you haven't, you click that, and this little orangey coloured one is where it lets you monitor your own tracks. Again, we had ticked that enable the monitoring, but what you can do is you can turn that on or off right there. Next thing that you want to do before you start recording is get yourself a click track set up. So easiest way to do that is you'll see up here along this toolbar, so there's a whole host of buttons that we've got, but the ones that we're interested in today is this one here, tempo. So you can click on there, and what it lets you do is it'll let you type in the tempo that you want to use. So let's say we wanted 140 beats per minute. That then adjusts that, setting it up for 140 beats per minute. You can also click on the little metronome icon, and it takes you into the metronome settings. And what it lets you do is you can set up what sound you want. So you've got a whole list of different sounds that you might want to hear, and you can also adjust the volume, making it that little bit louder, just so you can have it coming over your track. Bear in mind though, the last thing you want is to hear that metronome click bleed through into your microphone when you're recording. I learned that one the hard way. You can also have a count-in built in, so if you wanted to have one bar before you came in, you can build that in here as well. So once you've made your changes, again, it's the exact same menu. You'll notice preferences, it's just down here under project. Earlier we were in devices. You just hit apply, and then that saves your changes so that it's ready to go. Obviously that was nice and easy for me to jump straight in and go, we want 140 beats per minute. But if you didn't know what your beats per minute were going to do or going to be, what you can do is if you come up to the toolbar here, and if you select project, sorry, just moving along there, if you select project and you do insert tempo change, so if we click on that, you see that this box here has appeared, and right here it's got click here to tap tempo. So what you can do is if you know the rough tempo of your song, you can start clicking it out. So there we go, I've clicked out 100 beats per minute roughly. You can then adjust it down, you can type over the top of it. So if we do that, let's say we wanted 100, you can type it in here, and then you can hit OK. Also, if you have a tempo change in your song, this is where you can program that in. So if I hit OK, and you'll notice up here, it's actually changed to be 100. So the next thing you're ready to do is actually get started recording. So that's nice and easy. You've got a couple of options here. So as you'll notice, you've got this button up the top where it says record, and in brackets it's got comp in, so I'll show you what that means in a minute. The other option you've got is again using the keyboard shortcuts, and I find these the most useful because it's quick to reach if you're recording yourself. So you can press the R for record on your keyboard, and if I press that, it starts recording, and you can hear the count in and the tempo change there, or the metronome. You can then press the space bar to stop your recording, so it makes it nice and easy for you to get around to doing that. Now let's say it's going to take you more than one take, because you're probably going to find that you'll do a few takes. You want to record over, but you might want to go back and be able to select the different tracks and listen to each of them to pick the best one, and that's what this record comping means. So to set it up, what you do is long press, so hold your left mouse button down, and then it lets you select what you want. So comping being that you get a list of tracks, which I'll show you where they come up in a little moment. Overwrite is where it will always record over the top of what you've just recorded, and then sound on sounds where it will actually layer the tracks. So I just use comping, and I've left it set to that because it lets me pick my best recordings each time that I want to do that. If you want to, I'll just record another track, and then I'll show you where your next set of tracks is going to come up as well. So if I pause that, when I'm ready, you've got down here take lanes, and as you'll see, I've got the different lanes here that have came through. So this is what you refer to as comping, which means that you're taking a selection of your different tracks. So it's really handy with vocals, I've found. So if you take maybe 4 or 5 different takes of your own vocals and then you want to pick the best bits from each track, what you do is you open up these take lanes and you can get all of your recordings, your 5 tracks, and then what you do is you select the section that you want. It then splits them out and you can listen down through them by using the play button to be your space bar, and then you can play down through them and hear which one you like, and then when you decide which one you want, you simply press enter and then that moves it up into the main track. So, and it's something we'll probably go on in one of the later videos, because it's something that for me I've been using quite a bit more, and it's definitely been very useful. If I do want to delete tracks, you can just highlight and press delete and that clears them as well. So that's how we do the deleting. Probably the final thing to show you for this video is if you want to record an electric guitar, what do you do? So you'll see here we've got FX, so you can plug the guitar straight in, you can record clean. But if you want to add any effects, now this is for vocals, it's for guitar, it's for anything at all, you press this little plus symbol and it's got a whole host of effects that are built in. So what we want is we want these audio effects, and what we would take is TH3. Now TH3 is the guitar system that they've got built in, and it's got a load of cabinets, of effects pedals, as you see it's just popping up, and a lot of presets that are built in. You can buy a version of this, but to be honest with you, this is the free version and it's more than enough to get you started, and I can't see, for me anyway, because it's not the kind of stuff I'm recording, I can't see me buying a version of this anytime in the near future. But what you've got is a whole host of preset sounds. So you've got a clean sound, and if I double click that, then what it does is it loads in, it gives you our amp. Let's make this screen bigger. So it gives us the amp, the cabinet, positions the microphone, and it presets those. If we change over to a different one, again, just changes the cabinet. So you can also remove these out. So once you've got the blank screen, what you can do is we can add in our own and build our own one. So you'll see here you've got, you know, loads and loads of them. So you've got cabinets, so let's say we want this rock 90s, and actually if I hover over, sorry, just to show you as well, it tells you it's modelled on a Marshall GCM. I've just realised my face is in the road. It's modelled on a Marshall GCM, so let me just show you that again. So hover over it, modelled on Marshall GCM 900, a JTM 45, and it's got all the different amps that you might want to see what's modelled on. So let's take this Marshall GCM, and then what you would do is you then want to pick your cabinet. So again, we can go down on Marshall valve state. So I've actually got a valve state amp, so it's probably one that I would use if I was trying to recreate my own sound that I've got. And then now what you've got is you can change your settings. So you want some bass, your mid, your treble, you know, that kind of thing. And as you're recording, it'll come through. So you do that. If I just close out here, you'll see that it's saying up here the open TH3. So that's actually just showing you that that affects live. Obviously, if I want to disable it, just hit the little power icon to bypass that. So it's the way you can record using your distorted sound, but there is clean sounds, there's pedals. I'll just come back in and show you. You know, you've got different pedals down here, and again, they're all, some of them are modelled on actual pedals that are available out there, so like an MXR phase, for example. So some really, really good stuff for you to play about with and try. And then probably the last thing to show you is if you want to save. So file, save as, and then what you do is you can set up your own little project. So you get them, they'll be set up in a folder. You can set up your own project, and it will save down every track as you start building and layering them into that one. So obviously just make sure you've saved it somewhere that you know that it's easy to find. But as I showed you at the start when I went into mine, let's just close this project. I don't want to save any changes. when I open it up, I get these projects and it gives me the ones that I've been working on. So let's see. And it means it's nice and easy for you to come back to it and keep your recording going, because you're not going to finish a track in one day unless you're doing a really quick demo. But here it comes, hopefully. It takes a wee moment. Obviously, the more stuff that you add on, the more that you're going to see. So there we go, we've got some of my track that's built in here. So it's showing you've got clean guitar, we've got rhythm, we've got some vocals, some backing vocals. This was a project I actually played about with just to get me up and running at the start and try out the different effects that are built into the system. There you go, I hope you found that really useful. And especially if you're about to go and try do your first recordings. I really tried to cover the kind of stuff that I thought I would have known, because I wanted to just jump right in and start recording, so I thought this is the quickest things to get you up and recording. So if you've enjoyed that, the best things you can do for me is if you give the video a little thumbs up, and also if you don't mind, if you want to hit subscribe. So what I'll do is I'll put my little subscribe button here, and if you want to see other videos, so the other video in this series at the moment, what I'll do is I'll put a little playlist there so you can go back and watch the first video if you haven't already done that. But keep making music, keep having fun, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, bye bye.